All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to our ADHD and Sensory Webinar, How Chiropractic Care Can Help Your Kiddo Thrive. And so, my name is Dr. Carl Moe. With my wife, Dr. Chelsea Moe, we are chiropractors at Tree of Life Chiropractic, Rochester. We are newly opening here in the Rochester area. We just moved here from Seattle, Washington, where we've been practicing for the last 7 years in a primarily pediatric and prenatal chiropractic office. We actually had 2 locations there in Seattle, and we were able to serve and work with and connect with thousands and thousands of families. And we're excited to come to Rochester and do the same. We have been blown away and blessed by how welcoming the community has been, and how amazing the families have been that we've connected with, providers, other chiropractors, healthcare providers. Everyone has been amazing. So we're in the process of opening. We're hoping to be open by the week after July 4th. And so our location is on North Winton Road, in the North Winton Village area, and we'd love for you to go check out our practice. You can look in the windows, see all the cool stuff going up. We got walls up. We are getting ready to get rocking. We're super excited to get back in the trenches with our families. But today we're talking about ADHD and sensory, and it's something we're really passionate about, and something that we're really pursuing. And the reason why we really focus on kids and families and young families is, we see everyone. We talk about the pediatric and prenatal world, but we see everyone. We see adults, grandparents, athletes, everything. But what we've realized over time is if we start seeing this population, these older adults, they've had so much life and stress, and they've already gone through all of what we call the perfect storm that we're going to talk about later. They've gone through that. They've been on multiple medications. They've had all this intervention. It's really hard to get down to really find that true health and really allowing them to thrive. And our true passion and mission is to help our young adults grow up and be a better part of our society and serve more and love more and really truly make a change. And you can't do that if you're struggling with your health, because you got to take care of that. And so we want to allow these kiddos to thrive. And if we get to them earlier, specifically preconception, pregnancy, and the birthing process, if we can allow them to thrive and really embrace and get through these periods of time and grow and adapt and properly function, they're going to be better off as they go. They're not going to be on as many medications or interventions. They're going to be able to just really grow and educate and develop better in a higher way. So that's why we're so passionate about kids. And ADHD and sensory is something that is just blowing up lately, and we're seeing these trends. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Some stats, and I'm going to be reading a little bit here to make sure I don't miss anything, so I apologize. But ear infections, 95% of kids by the age of 3 will have an ear infection. And most of those kids are actually having chronic ear infections. 1 in 10 kids have asthma, been diagnosed with asthma. Some new research is showing that could be related to the ear infections and the antibiotic use over a period of time. Chronic illness, this is heartbreaking. 1 in 4 children have been diagnosed and are working through chronic illness. ADHD, 1 in 9 kids have actually been diagnosed with ADHD. Autism, according to the CDC in 2014, 1 in 59 kids, and this number is skyrocketing. As a father, this is like, these stats just really kind of break me down, because it's crazy. 1 in 6 kids have a developmental disability. We look back, like, what's going on? Our genetics are not changing. Nowhere near fast enough to create this change. But what is changing is the environment, our external environment and our internal environment we're putting in our bodies, and the stress that is coming onto us every single day. Those are changing rapidly, and we're seeing that change in our children. So you may be asking why is a chiropractor talking about sensory ADHD and all these things? Well, we're going to get into that deeply, but one of my favorite quotes by one of my favorite authors, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he has a PhD in biology and studies epigenetics. He states, "The function of the nervous system is to perceive the environment and coordinate the behavior of all other cells." So if we think about that, our nervous system is going to coordinate every stimulus that comes into our body, and how do we adapt and function and create behavior from that percepted stimulus, right? If you look at sensory and kiddos struggling with ADHD, whether they've been diagnosed or labeled or not, this is their struggle. A lot of times we're looking at the external behavior, but what's really causing a lot of those issues is that stimulus that's coming in and how it's perceived. For example, when we have all this stress in our spine, stress in our nervous system that are happening from life, and we're going to get into these stresses, our body goes into a fight or flight stress response. Okay. Now these are absolutely crucial for life survival in certain circumstances. For example, if I'm getting chased by a bear and I'm running through the woods as fast as I can, I want to be able to see every branch, every twig. I want to be able to feel everything around me. I want to be able to hear every sound. I want to see super far away. You got to be totally tuned in. That's that fight or flight stress response, right? Or if I'm walking down the street and someone's stuck under a car, I want to have the superpower strength and energy to get this car up to save that life. Okay, those are absolutely important traits to have. But think about if you had that same fight or flight locked in, right? Locked in is a term we hear a lot with sensory kiddos, locked in state every single day. How would you function? How would you adapt? For example, our visual acuity, visual sensitivity, noticing every single thing. Over time, if we have that every day, every change in light, everything that's coming in visually is going to be almost irritating to a sense if it goes past that normal stimulus we're getting used to. Skin and temperature, we're going to be so aware of what's around us. Big changes in temperature, hot or cold, or even every little piece of thread we're going to feel on our shirt, we're going to be overly sensitive, and that it gets you, right? We're going to talk about sound sensitivity. Everything we hear, we have all this stuff going on in our ears and what we're receiving, right, from sound. Then you add some more loud noise and more stimulus. It's not good, right? Or we talk about digestive immune systems with a lot of our sensory kiddos struggling with digestive issues, weight gain, endocrine immune issues. The reason why we see that is when we're in this fight or flight stress locked in state. The things that we do on a daily basis are going to put on the side, right? So ability to properly digest food, probably be able to excrete and actually have proper bowel movements, our immune system, and so our immune system is going to get shut down. All of these things are happening because we're stuck in that fight or flight state. And these kiddos are craving high sugar, high fat, quick eat, crackers, things like that. They're simple foods because they need that energy to keep going at the state that they're going. And they're going to be highly focused on what's around them, naturally, because they're in this fight or flight state. And so what happens is these kids are going through that same thing every single day instead of those circumstances to save our life. And so we're going to talk about that. And as chiropractors, our number one goal when a patient comes in is to measure those stresses and how their body's perceiving it and how it's functioning. So those three stresses we talked about become the three T's. The first one's physical stress, and that T is trauma. The second one is going to be chemical stress. That's what we're going to call toxins. And the third one is going to be emotional and mental stress. We're going to call that thoughts. And so the first one is physical stress. What kind of physical stress is leading to this perfect storm stress on our kiddos? And we can start with that in utero, right? In utero constraint, positioning, stress on the baby. Even in a properly positioned baby, there's going to be stress. There's limitation of space, right? Let alone positioning and things like that. Birth trauma, whether it's forceps, vacuum, cord wrapped around neck, C-section, those things are creating stress already physically on these kiddos. And then you look at them trying to crawl and walk, falls, car seats, baby Bjorn, bounce seats. All these things are going to be creating stress on the spine and the nervous system of those kiddos. The next one is going to be chemical stress. Chemical stress can be the preservatives and additives in our food, processed foods, right? We're going to talk about the high sugar, grain, dairy diets that we're eating, environmental chemicals, whether it's household cleaners, what else we got? We got detergents, we got even the air we breathe when we walk outside. There's toxins, there's stuff in there that we shouldn't be breathing every single day. And then we can talk about vaccines. I'm not here to talk and get into the vaccine debate. It's a different platform, but there's fillers, ingredients that are not the best thing for our body, right? And all the things we're talking about, these stresses, I'm not telling you should get rid of all of them, because this is life, right? We're going to have these stresses, and as parents, we have to make the right decision of what we do for our child, what environment we put them in, what we put in their bodies. And so these are just things you got to think about. There's stress involved with that, right? The next one we talk about is the mental and emotional toxins and stress. Fear-based pregnancy, stress with pregnancy. And the way we talk about that is going to be, in our office, we actually don't want other moms telling about all the things that happen during their birthing process. The long labors, the pain, because we don't want to add extra stress to these moms. We want to empower them. We want to inspire them because they're going through such an amazing process. The stressful and forced emergency deliveries, NICU stays. Again, these are things that are out of control. Life-saving interventions happen. We need those to stay alive. I'm thankful for them, but they create the stress on mom, stress on dad, stress on baby. Fast-paced, high-stressful life. You know, you wake up, you go to school, you have sports practice, you have tutoring, get home, eat, and then you got to do your homework. And we're going. I'm guilty of this too. All the time, right? We don't have the opportunity to really relax and settle down. The bullying nowadays is just crazy, cyberbullying. We didn't have a lot of that when I was in school. Getting labeled and diagnosed. This is a big one. It's stressful on families to get that label or diagnosed for your kiddo. It's stressful for them as well to go to school knowing they have this diagnosis or thing that's keeping them from being like everyone else. And their expectations they have from their parents to do all these things, and they're struggling, right? These are stresses. We call this the new normal. We call this the perfect storm, because they're things that are just increasing over time. Again, our genetics aren't changing. Our environmental stresses and our physical stresses are. And so what can we do about that, right? Well, we can decrease as many of those 3 T's as we can. Do as much as we can to be cognitive and aware of what's going on and how we can better help our kiddos thrive in that environment. The next one is, how can we increase the ability to adapt to these stresses and properly take in everything and properly coordinate the action of that. And as chiropractors, Dr. Shelton and myself spend every moment we can learning how to better serve this community and measuring the nervous system and processing that. And you know, whether it's a newborn with latching issues, sleep, digestive issues, or a kiddo struggling at school, or chronic illness, it's all the same root cause that we're addressing. So the sensory ADHD is just something that's skyrocketing, and so we're a little more focused on that. But all those things have the same root cause, and it's that stress, fight or flight process on our nervous system. You know, we've seen kiddos again have amazing changes. When we talk about ADHD and sensory, we've had kiddos who've been able to go to school and focus more. Grades get better. Some kiddos are able to become more independent at school, not have somebody with them all the time. We've had weight change, digestive changes. We've had some of our kids who've been labeled and diagnosed with autism be able to travel and fly, and sometimes solo, and do just amazing change. They have so many talents and strengths. Really embrace those things, and we see those all the time. It's amazing. And we do that by assessing the nervous system. How we do that when a new patient comes in, whether you're a new mom, a kiddo, is we're going to do a thorough consultation, history, what's been going on, what kind of stresses have we already gone through, and then we can objectively measure what's going on. We were able to use technology called the CLA Insight. What that does, it allows us to measure muscle tone and tone of your kiddo, their nervous system, how's their nervous system function at each segment level. Also, through HRV, we can measure how much stress are they under and how are they adapting to that stress, right? And through all that information, create a game plan for you and your family. For, all right, these are our goals. This is what we think we can do through this process. And we're going to work with you on that. And so what we can see is we can get those kiddos out of that fight or flight stress response. Remember earlier on we talked about all the sensitivities from being in this fight or flight protection mode. As we can balance that kiddo, properly connect them, they're going to start seeing changes, and it's going to happen. It's not going to be overnight. We're not creating this magic pill, but you're going to see them start thriving in their community. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is look more into this. Send us a message, ask questions. If you ask questions on here, I'm going to answer them as soon as we get done. Also, something special we're doing is as we're opening, we have so many moms and dads who really want to take action. And so we've created what's called the Founders Club. And what the Founders Club is the opportunity for you guys to actually request an appointment now. I'll put a link below, but request an appointment to come into our office on 2 days, for 2 separate days prior to opening to the public. We have a list that's growing fast, so make sure you get on there. And we're going to do an initial visit, a history, consultation, exam, everything we just talked about, and find out exactly what's going on with your kiddo. And we're going to do that for $20 instead of the typical $150 we charge for the new visit. On top of that, you're going to get some cool office swag, we're going to prizes. It's a great way just to connect and kind of see how you and your family can be healthier. And this isn't just for your kiddo who may be struggling with some of this ADHD sensory stuff. It can be for your entire family, because what we've talked about isn't just for that. That's just one symptom or one side. But in order to be a healthy family, in order to be able to really be positive for our community, you really have to be as healthy as possible as a family. And so we pride ourselves on being family friendly and family affordable in our practice. So check that out. We'll put the link below. It's filling up fast again, so make sure you check that out. Also, if you have questions, ask them below. Send us a message. Email us, call us. We're truly here to serve you guys. If you know somebody who may be struggling with some of these health issues with their family, I encourage you to share this on their Facebook page or send them an email or give them our contact info. We'd love to help. So thank you guys. I hope you guys got some positive information, some action steps out of this. Thankful for you guys, and have a blessed day. All right, guys.